Hi everyone, welcome back to Fleecimals Friday. I'm Noah, and today we finally have part 2 of the So Tidy makeovers. I think it's been about a month since that video was posted, but if you look in the background of the video where Michelle is sitting, there are some fall decorations visible on our TV stand, so I think that can give you a little idea of when that video was actually recorded. Speaking of which, in part 1, Michelle did the disassembly of the So Tidy, and gave some other information like where she got it, how old it is, what it's used for, stuff like that. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. There will be a link in the description to that video and also in the top right corner of this one. So once you've checked that out, head back over here and we'll get into it. And one thing I would like to mention though is that since this So Tidy is so old, which is something Michelle covered in the last video, we found some mold on it after she had taken it apart, and just to be safe, I brought it outside and put on a mask when I was sanding it. That way I wouldn't be breathing in the mold or the sawdust, and that's just a good habit anyway. Don't want to be breathing that stuff in. So I started off with an 80 grit sandpaper to get rid of that mold and the old lacquer that was on it, so that way we could paint it later on in this video. After the first round of sanding was done, I went back over both pieces with a 120 grit piece of sandpaper just to get any lacquer that I'd missed the first time and smooth it out a little bit. Once I had removed the remainder of the lacquer with the 120 grit sandpaper, I then switched to a piece of 220 grit sandpaper to finish sanding. Alright, so I just finished up sanding the So Tidy frame. And just the time too, because it's starting to rain, so I gotta get inside, get that cleaned up and ready for Michelle to paint. So send it on over to her.
All right, so we're at the home improvement store. We're gonna pop in and get some pieces and parts to finish up this piece. Let's go. All right, so it's time to paint. So we got everything we needed, and after Noah graciously sanded everything for me, I was able to go in and fill a lot of the tiny holes with wood filler, just because we're not gonna be using the same methods for applying the backing. So like, you might be able to see all these little white holes. Those are all filled with wood filler. We're going to be using a staple gun most likely for parts of it, and then tacks for others. So just to make it a little stronger and clean it up, I filled in all those gaps. So can I have the towel that's sitting under you? Sitting on old towels to make things easier, but we're going to just wipe off the wood filler dust. And Noah's here to help paint to move things along too. Yeah. And as you saw, I picked out 2 different paint colors. I'll give you a second to guess which one. Obviously, Fleecimals green. Alright, so I'm just gonna wipe this down. And then we also don't need to paint the side with most of the holes because that's gonna be the back. So, or the outside rather. So this is the side that's gonna be facing me when I'm actually using it. So I'm gonna wipe this one off, and then I'll give you the towel to wipe the other one off. All right, so now we are all ready. I have my paint pants on. You have your paint shirt on. Together we make one outfit of painting. So first we need to take, this is the biggest brush possible, but I couldn't find our little ones. And we gotta paint the corners, so. Because we got tiny rollers. We're also doing this on a tarp in the basement because it's raining outside. And that way if we drip anything, should be fine.
just thinking of our green panels here and our green walls and our green so tidy. People are gonna really think we like green.
Well, we do really like green.
At least I do.
Green's a nice calming color. And it's not my fault that Fleecimals is green. Well.
How?
It was an accident. I gotta get these corners. I don't want to get paint on your non-paint pants.
Yeah, well, it's alright if they do.
Those are your paint pants now.
Well, if they get paint on, they are. If not, no one has to know.
No one has to know. Actually, why not?
Except everyone who watched. They all know.
Actually, you should put them inside out. If you ever don't have paint clothes and you want to paint or you need to paint, if you flip your clothes inside out, if you get paint on them, nobody's gonna know.
It only works if they're thick enough so that where it doesn't show the paint.
That's fair. So we got these tiny little rollers, which should make painting a little easier.
Oh gosh, that's way too much.
And this will probably need a couple of coats.
Alright, so Juba, what's your plan with these after? I haven't really heard much about it.
So what I have a very particular criteria of what I need to fit into this, because I'm going to be using this exclusively for events and conventions. I'm actually going to turn too. And so I have a little drawing. It's tiny. I do well when it comes to thinking with drawing if I do thumbnail sketches, which are just little tiny sketches. And so I listed out the things that I need to be able to bring with me. Scissors and shears are very important. I need to have a pair of non-sewing scissors, a large pair of sewing shears, small sewing scissors, and then my thread snips. So 4 pairs of sewing scissors with me at a time. So there has to be a section for that. There also has to be a section for my pin cushion, which is magnetic. So I was able to get, as you saw, a big magnet to hold it in place. Flattering angle. Let me see. So another thing is having a lot of thread on top, which I discussed in the first video. When I go to an event, I offer accessories, and they come in every single color imaginable, and I like to be able to sew those accessories on with the correct color thread. So Noah's seen me. I'll bring 20 spools of thread at a time. So it's got to have a lot of spots for that, which is going to be at the top. So from the top down, about 1.5 of the top tier, here and here, is going to be spools of thread. And then we've also got, this one had a little fold-out table, which I'm keeping. I haven't decided if I want to paint it or not. I probably will. Yeah. And so that's going to be the top, is going to be thread and also the little fold-out table. And then also where the fold-out table is, I'll put the magnet for the pin cushion. How's it going over there?
Oh, mess already.
We should have gotten a heat gun so we could dry things quicker.
Just that I just got dipped in
Oh no.
paint. I don't know what happened.
So then with these, I designed it so that way I could fit these. I have little containers that I have my business cards and different tags and such. I use for those. So I have a spot that will elastic hold those vertically. So right now I have them horizontally and they're about this big. So they take up one of the whole shelves, but there's, you know, there's room above that. So I want to use kind of every square inch that I can. All right, so this is how it looks after 2 coats. We're gonna let it dry overnight, probably put on another 2 coats tomorrow just so it's extra protected. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right, so we're back after the 3rd coat. As you can see, it's nice and vibrant. It's a flat green, which came out really nice. We might do a couple of little touch-ups, maybe put on a 4th coat, but the next step will be assembling in the next video. And they are kitty approved, clearly. And this weekend we're gonna be in Syracuse, New York at the Museum and Science Center for an event called Retro Game Con Junior. So definitely come and say hi if you're in the area. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!